Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In a move that has sent shockwaves across the globe, sports fans and officials alike are reeling from an announcement no one saw coming. FIFA has made the unprecedented decision to strip the United States of its co-hosting rights for the 2026 World Cup, a tournament that was set to be the biggest sporting event ever held on American soil. The news broke during a tense press conference, leaving journalists scrambling for answers and stadiums across the U.S. suddenly silent and empty. Every single match that was originally scheduled to take place in the United States, including the highly anticipated final at the iconic MetLife Stadium, will now be played in Canada. The shift is monumental, with Canadian cities stepping up to host games that were expected to draw millions of fans and billions in revenue to the U.S. This shocking and unprecedented decision is rooted in a dramatic breakdown of international diplomacy. Political tensions between the U.S. and several key FIFA member nations escalated behind closed doors, leading to a collapse in the spirit of North American cooperation that had defined the tournament's planning for years. The fallout has left relationships frayed and trust shattered on the world stage. For the United States, the consequences are staggering. After investing billions of dollars and dedicating years to meticulous planning and construction, the nation now faces not only a sporting void but also a massive financial black hole. Stadiums that were once buzzing with anticipation now stand eerily empty, their future uncertain. Meanwhile, Canada finds itself thrust into the global spotlight. Canadian cities are preparing to welcome the world, with fans celebrating in the streets and local businesses gearing up for an economic windfall. The eyes of the sporting world are now fixed on Canada, as it takes on the enormous responsibility of hosting the entire tournament. Around the world, fans watch in disbelief as headlines flash across screens, and social media erupts with speculation and debate. The story of the 2026 World Cup is being rewritten in real time, with every new development capturing the attention of millions. How did it come to this? What chain of events could possibly have led to such a seismic shift in the world's most beloved tournament? Let's unravel the complex web of politics, power, and controversy that brought us to this historic turning point. The original vision for 2026 was the United Bid, an historic partnership between the US, Canada, and Mexico. The US was set to host the majority of matches, with Mexico and Canada as junior partners. The expanded 48-team format promised inclusivity and a celebration of North American unity. Iconic US stadiums were chosen, and economic projections soared into the billions. The slogan "United as One" captured the spirit of diversity and openness. But the very promise of unity that defined the bid would soon unravel. Ironically, the collapse began with a failure to uphold that core principle. The turning point wasn't on the pitch, but in the realm of geopolitics. After a brief US-Iran conflict in 2025, diplomatic relations soured. Tensions peaked when Iran announced a boycott of the World Cup draw in Washington, D.C., after the US denied visas to key Iranian football officials. Iran called it a political affront, demanding FIFA's intervention. The crisis challenged FIFA's core principle: all qualified teams must participate without political interference. FIFA now faced an impossible choice: proceed with a compromised tournament or take drastic action. The stage was set for a decision that would shake the footballing world. In a move that sent shockwaves through the world of sports, FIFA responded with unprecedented speed, declaring the United States in breach of its hosting agreement. The decision was not just swift, but historic. Never before had a host nation been stripped of its rights so close to the tournament. The world watched as the governing body of football took a stand, determined to uphold the values that have defined the World Cup for generations. President Gianni Infantino, facing a barrage of questions from the global press, emphasized that the World Cup must remain a beacon of unity, free from political exclusion or interference. He spoke passionately about the tournament's role in bringing together nations, cultures, and people from every corner of the globe, insisting that no single country's politics could be allowed to overshadow the spirit of the game. Behind the scenes, frantic talks unfolded as diplomats, FIFA officials, and government representatives scrambled to find a solution. Negotiations stretched late into the night, with urgent phone calls and high-stakes meetings taking place in hotel suites and boardrooms. Despite the best efforts of all involved, the crisis proved insurmountable and the deadline for resolution passed without agreement. FIFA's message to the world was clear and uncompromising: no host nation's internal politics can be allowed to compromise the tournament's universal nature. The World Cup, they insisted, is not just a sporting event, but a symbol of global togetherness, and its integrity must be fiercely protected. By stripping the US of its hosting rights, FIFA drew a firm and unmistakable line in the sand. The message to future hosts was unmistakable. Openness, neutrality, and respect for the tournament's inclusive values are non-negotiable. The sight of the US flag being quietly removed from stadiums and official materials was a powerful reminder of the consequences of failing to uphold these principles. The immediate aftermath was chaotic. Fans, athletes, and officials alike were left reeling, with confusion and disappointment spreading across continents. Stadiums that had been prepared for months now stood empty, and the world's media scrambled to cover the unfolding drama. Yet, amid the turmoil, FIFA stood by its decision, believing that it had protected the very soul of the World Cup. In the end, the world's most cherished competition now belongs, more than ever, to everyone. The World Cup's legacy of unity and celebration endures, reminding us all that football's greatest power lies in its ability to bring people together, regardless of borders or politics. But as the dust settles, the consequences of this unprecedented decision are just beginning to unfold. The world waits to see what comes next, as football's global community faces a new and uncertain chapter. Suddenly, Canada finds itself the main host of the world's biggest sporting event. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau embraced the challenge, promising an inclusive and safe tournament. For Canadian soccer, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to inspire a new generation. The men's national team, now in the spotlight, will open the tournament in Toronto, ushering in a new era. Canada's automatic berth and home advantage bring both pressure and pride. The nation must now draw on its experience, hosting major events to meet this monumental task. For Canada, this is more than football. It's a chance to show the world what it can achieve. Behind the scenes, Canada faces a logistical race against the clock. With only 2 original host cities, organizers must rapidly expand to accommodate dozens more matches and hundreds of thousands of fans. Stadiums in Montreal and Edmonton are being considered, but upgrades must happen fast. Security, accommodation, and transportation systems are under immense strain. Teams must scramble to secure new training bases, and the World Cup draw itself is in limbo. Fans face chaos. Tickets, travel, and accommodations are all upended. The scale of the challenge is unprecedented, but the determination is palpable. The countdown to kickoff has never felt so urgent. The economic fallout is staggering. U.S. cities lose billions in investments and anticipated revenue, while local businesses face a sudden void. The ticket market for the final, once set to break records, has collapsed overnight. U.S. soccer faces financial loss and reputational damage, with legal action looming. In contrast, Canada stands to gain a massive economic windfall, with tourism and global exposure set to soar. For American fans, the loss is deeply personal. A dream decades in the making now gone. In Canada, excitement and pride are building for a legacy-defining event. The 2026 World Cup will now be remembered as the Canadian World Cup. The world's response has been swift and passionate. U.S. soccer decries the decision as a disservice to fans and a blow to years of preparation. Iran, vindicated, sees FIFA's move as a victory for fair play. FIFA's Infantino frames the decision as a defense of the tournament's integrity and inclusivity. Canada's leaders project confidence and national pride, rallying the country for the challenge ahead. These contrasting voices, American disappointment, Iranian relief, FIFA's principled stand and Canadian ambition, capture a sporting world in upheaval. The debate over politics and sport has never been more intense. The eyes of the world now turn north. This historic decision will echo for years, a powerful reminder of the fragile balance between sport and politics. The world watched as the announcement rippled across continents, igniting debates in living rooms, newsrooms, and locker rooms alike. For many, it's a moment that underscores how the beautiful game is never played in isolation. It is shaped by the forces of diplomacy, national pride, and the ever-shifting tides of global events. The stakes have never felt higher, and the world's attention is now fixed on what comes next. For Canada, the next 6 months are a test of resolve and resourcefulness. Organizers, athletes, and fans must come together to meet the challenge of hosting the world's most-watched sporting event under extraordinary circumstances. From logistics and security to fostering a spirit of inclusivity, every detail matters. The eyes of the world are on Canadian cities, where communities are rallying to create a tournament that not only meets expectations, but sets a new standard for unity and celebration. The pressure is immense, but so is the opportunity to inspire a new generation. For the US, it's a moment of reflection on the intersection of foreign policy and global sport. The decision has sparked passionate conversations about the role of politics in international competitions and what it means for the future of American soccer. Fans and players alike are grappling with disappointment, but also with a renewed sense of purpose, determined to support the game's growth at home and abroad. This is a time for introspection, but also for looking forward, as the nation considers how to re-engage with the world's game on its own terms. The World Cup's spirit endures, bigger than any single nation. Across continents, fans are reminded that football's true power lies in its ability to unite people from every background, language, and belief. The tournament remains a stage for hope, resilience, and the shared joy of competition. Even in the face of controversy, the world's passion for the game burns brighter than ever, as millions prepare to celebrate the sport's unifying magic. FIFA's move, however controversial, was meant to defend the promise of a level playing field. The organization faces scrutiny and praise in equal measure, as it navigates the complex realities of modern sport. By making this bold choice, FIFA signals its commitment to fairness, integrity, and the values that have defined football for generations. The world will be watching to see if these ideals are upheld, both on and off the pitch. The world now looks to Canada to deliver a tournament worthy of football's ideals. From coast to coast, preparations are underway to welcome teams and fans from every corner of the globe. Streets are filling with anticipation, and young players dream of witnessing history in their own backyard. Canada's challenge is not just to host, but to inspire, to show that unity, respect, and the love of the game can overcome any obstacle. In June 2026, the whistle will blow and the global celebration will begin anew, under a northern sky. The world will gather, not just to compete, but to share in moments of triumph, heartbreak, and unforgettable connection. The next chapter of football's story is about to be written, and its legacy will be shaped by the choices made today. What do you think of this unprecedented World Cup twist? Share your thoughts below. Join the conversation, and let your voice be heard as the world prepares for a tournament unlike any before.